Every veteran has a story, some filled with sacrifice, some with struggle, some with triumph. This is a place where those stories are heard. From service to survival, from battlefield to brotherhood. Welcome to Warfighters United. Real veterans, real conversations with real impact. Welcome to Warfighters United. Today I have a guest that's not a stranger to Warfighters United. He was my fifth podcast a long time ago. It's been a year. And just last week, I had the opportunity to hang out with some Ukraine soldiers, Marines. And so I wanted to get Rob Vardaro back. Rob's a U.S. Marine, but he didn't stop there. He also went over and fought in Ukraine for a couple of years. Rob, welcome back to Warfighters United.
Hey, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you for having me again. This is great.
Yeah, man. I was talking to these Ukraine soldiers. We had the honor and privilege. 5 of them came over to Detroit a couple weeks ago, and they were on
That's
a
awesome.
panel with the Vietnam Veterans of America. And it kind of opened my eyes up to a few things about Ukrainian soldiers and what happens to them after they get wounded and after they're not serving anymore. And when I gave you a call, you started talking about, what they didn't have and everything. And I kind of wanted to
Yeah,
shed light on that.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, like, do you want me to start off with like a situation? So, for example, when I got blown up in one of my vehicles, for example, one of my guys got his leg blown off. His jaw was hanging off and stuff. And when he got, we saved his life, got him out of there. And he contacted me. He was like, "Yeah, the Ukrainian government is not even giving up me any benefits or even a prosthetic." So I actually contacted one of my friends who's a double amputee, a former Marine, a Marine as well, and
Hmm.
yeah, I have some friends in Lithuania that do prosthetics. So my buddy hooked him up with, the prosthetic and everything. It's just a lot of the finances. The guys aren't getting it, but once again, they weren't ready. I don't think, obviously, for this kind of situation too. The Ukrainian military and stuff. Like, for example, like when the war started, they had no medics on the front lines
Yeah,
because they didn't want to
that
lose their medics.
That is crazy. When you got
Yeah,
wounded and you got shot 3 times, I
yeah,
remember you telling me that story. You had to drive 2 miles to get help. You said you were
yeah,
bleeding out like a pig and you thought you were going to die. And luckily
yeah.
you
Well,
didn't.
yeah, no, that's the thing, man. Like, you literally basically, because you get surrounded, there's nothing you can do, right? There's nothing you can do. You basically got to wait till our artillery or something happens to be able to even move, because so you basically like camp out in basements and hope the Russians don't go into that basement or frag the basement. So, it's literally like you're the Taliban in those situations. But yeah, the medical treatment, for like when we got injured multiple times, like they would like stick their fingers in you and rip shrapnel out of you. It's like it was the most basic stuff you could do at the time. But did get better over time, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, you still talk to probably a lot of guys in Ukraine that
I
are
do.
maybe even
Yeah.
still serving or whatnot. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been probably a couple years since you've been over there. What do you see
About a
as their biggest
year.
hurdle?
Yeah. I'm gonna be real. The biggest hurdle is, do you mean like military wise, or like
Sure, or just
okay, the biggest
in a nutshell altogether.
or altogether is the fact is Ukrainians have less people than the Russians. The Russians have an infinite amount of people they can throw at them, and the Russians don't care about their people. So, like, no matter, like, and once again, they're sending all these people, the conscripts and all this stuff. So it's people Russians don't even care about, like in, Moscow. So they're just throwing bodies. Like when we fought in, Kiev, it was the Asian Russians that we were fighting.
Asian
So they
Russians?
weren't, yes, because they're like Mongolian descendants. So they
Okay.
literally look like they're Chinese and stuff like that. Like they look Asian.
Did you
Um,
start thinking
yeah,
like this is what the guys in Vietnam felt like?
yeah, it's so weird because when I killed my first one, I was like, dude, like I looked at him, I go, what the freak? You know what I mean? Like it was just bizarre. Because I completely forgot they had such a vast area that had Asians and other groups. But yeah, it's just they have so many people that it's basically like a stalemate pretty much, and it's a back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it's just like, it's basically who has the most, you know arms and stuff like that. And basically, but the thing is, the Russians just have unlimited people to throw. That's the issue. Is Ukrainian has a limited amount and Russia has unlimited amounts of people.
And that's why so many people, yeah, Russia. I don't know how many Russians that Ukraine has killed, but I mean it's
Oh
quite a
no,
lot
dude! Like
now.
me, myself, myself, I've killed countless. So it's literally like nonstop. Like they would send waves, just waves. They go one group, one group, one group. It's like War One trench warfare. So they'd send a group, you eliminate them, and then they send another group, you eliminate them, and they'd like run to the same spots and get killed in the same spots. Like I had vehicles that would come down, I blow up a vehicle, the other vehicle would go down the same road, I just blow up the next vehicle. Like it, and they would be like 10 minutes apart. You know what I mean? Like, so they already know that. So you hear all the drones flying around and stuff, but when I'm covered up, I got my ghillie, it's like they can't see me really that well.
Uh huh.
But yeah, but the drones are everywhere. You probably got told. Like anywhere you go, there's drones. So like picture War One with drones. That's the best way to describe it. War One where everyone can see you at all times.
Yeah. See, it kind of reminds me of the Civil War where they would just line up
Yeah.
and shoot each other in a line.
Yes, that's literally what it is. It's literally like that plus nonstop artillery and explosions and grenades falling on you. That's how my buddy Boxer got killed, man. Like he was our drone operator, one of the best guys I know. Freaking rocket came in, hit him, killed him, and we couldn't get his body back for like 3 weeks. So like
Jeez.
yeah, because the line was pushing so much back and forth, and then sometimes you don't even realize you're in the Russian lines. Like you go through and you're like, oh shit, there's all these dead Russians here. Like you know what I mean? Like you just see dead bodies everywhere, and you're like, oh crap, I think we went too far left. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
and you
so
were telling me. I mean, it's totally different from what Iraq and Afghanistan was.
night and day, night and day. Iraq and Afghanistan. So I had veterans get mad at me. I don't know if I said this in the previous one. I had vets get mad because some people I served with in the Marines got mad at me because they were like, there's this movie called Warfare or whatever about like it's about like Afghanistan and Navy SEALs and stuff. And I said, wow, we were really privileged after watching this movie
Yeah.
compared to what it was like in Ukraine. They wrote me back and they said, you're spitting on our dead friends. You're spit. I'm like, dude, no, I'm being realistic. Like I'm being honest. I'm not going to be like, "Hey, we had the worst experience ever." Like, no, I didn't see literally like an entire group of my guys get killed in 10 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, in Afghanistan, or Iraq. It's literally just nuts. But yeah, like it's night and day difference. Like, especially beginning of the war. Beginning of the war, it was like everyone was dying. Everyone was dying. Like I would train up my guys, and my guys would do a successful mission, and then I probably told you, but did I tell you about the guy like when they tried to take one of my guys to go on the mission, and
No.
oh god, you're gonna love this story. All right, so we're Alexandrivka, that's like north southeast of Mykolaiv,
Hmm.
and what happened is, God, they came over to me and we're in this building that's like shot up and blown up, and we were just staged there. And they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go to Alexandrivka. And the Russians have like 6 tanks there, and it's a small village. They have like 6 tanks. They have like hundreds of dudes. We're gonna go in, and we're going to because oh God, this is I don't want to make the Ukrainians look bad, but I'm going to be honest. Okay. So what happened is the Ukrainians went in, right? And they
Hmm.
accidentally left like 100 dudes or like 50 dudes. And they left them there when they retreated. So there was like 50 dudes there. And by the time we got our mission, there was about 6 left.
Oh my
So
god.
they accidentally left them in the Russian lines.
I didn't
And
even know how
it
that
wasn't like
happens.
I don't know. Like it's just you have to remember these leaderships. In the beginning, they're all these old guys that have old tactics and they don't work. They're not used to that stuff. So, anyways, this guy comes over. He goes, "Hey, I need one of your guys. I want can I use him?" And he was an American guy. And I was like, "No, you can't." And he told me the mission, and the mission was to go around the water to Alexandrivka, and then
Hmm.
like do an attack, and then pull back. And I go, "Okay, cool. When was the last time you scouted out that location?" Because I was the commander of my guys, and they were like, "Well, we went there last night." And didn't there was no one in our way of going. I go, okay, did you hear drones? And they're like, yeah, there were drones above us, but it's fine. I go, dude, they know you're going to go that way now. Like they saw you go down there and come back. They know you're going to go there. You can't take my guy. My guy got so mad at me. He was like, dude, like, let me go on this mission. I want to go with them. I'm like, no, you're not going. Period. Like, I make the rules. You're not going.
Right.
And the Ukrainian guy goes, "F you, fuck you, you pussy." That's what he told me. Fuck you, you pussy. Literally, they go on the mission that night. Ready? I
Uh,
wake up to all of them dead.
oh,
Even the commander that told me I was a pussy is dead. And my dude was like, "Bro, thank you so much." They set up an ambush for them. So like they just got all lit up and killed. And even when I said that, like you could have seen these guys that end up dying that night. They looked at me and they were like, "Fuck!" Like they realized they're going into a suicide mission.
right.
Like some of the missions were so bizarre. Like, hey, go through a field with 2 javelins, right? And we're gonna hit them, and then come back through this massive field that's like a mile long again, with no protection, no cover. Just go
That
through
just
this field.
seems stupid.
It
And
is.
and
It's
so it kind
bizarre.
of shows how expendable life is over there.
It is. But the thing is this, you have to remember once again, it was like they got all these people that were not military people. They put them all in this thing, and they have these commanders that didn't know what to do in this situation. You had good commanders though. Don't get me wrong. We had great commanders, but some
Right.
of them, some of the commanders are called combat. So like when I first was like, hey, we're gonna get some combat for guys, and my guys like, oh no, combat's over there. I'm like, no, no, no. So there's like confusion of language. Um, but uh, yeah, no, it was like when I went all over, it was just bizarre. Like, but yeah, no, it's literally death everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's just bodies. When I was there, and like when your buddies get killed and you're pinned down, you literally just have to wait with your dead friends for like a day, did two
Oh my
days. You're just
god.
waiting, or like Alexis, the medic, that I told you about last
Yeah.
time, like she got blown up by artillery round and was bled out, and the group that came to relieve, like before she got blown up, because they had to retreat because the Russians were pushing in.
Uh-huh.
But the group that was supposed to replace them, they had to be there for an extra week or a few days because the group that replaced them all got killed coming to replace them.
Yeah,
So
and so Alexis,
yeah,
that was the that was when you ran across the minefield, or was that before?
minefield was before.
Minefield was before. Okay.
Minefield was like the beginning of the war. Like that was the beginning of the war, and that's when the Russians were throwing down all those like they'd shoot these things out that like lay mines everywhere.
Uh-huh.
So mines were everywhere, and it was anti-personnel, anti-tank everywhere you go. Like you go to save your buddy, and the other buddy gets his leg blown off. That's what dude, like that's what happened with some of our guys. They it was during the winter, and one of our guys stepped on mine, got blown up. I was not a commander at the time, but then they sent the medic to go save him. The medic stepped on an ID, blew off his legs, and then his face landed on another mine, exploded his face.
Oh my god.
So yeah, it was just and then you're getting shot at the same time, so you're getting lit up while your guys are all getting blown up by mines, claymores, stuff like that.
Man, and so these guys, they're fighting for Ukraine.
Hmm.
They're fighting for all the countries around,
Oh, they're
so they
badass.
don't
They're
come
badass.
further.
Yeah,
And they get seriously wounded, and then Ukraine just sends them home with nothing. So it's not
pretty
like here in
much.
America where you get wounded, you go to a wounded warrior regiment, or go to Walter Reed. They make sure you have everything before you get out, whether it's
Yeah.
prosthetics and everything.
Hmm.
But they don't even get compensated for their injuries, do
Well, I
they?
think they're starting to do. For my knowledge, is they're doing compensation somewhat now. But when it started to like the middle of the war, there was the compensation. I'm gonna be real. No one knows where the money's going. So where is the money going? Because when you get told they get millions of dollars for COVID relief, no one's wearing masks during a war. Like where'd that money go?
Right,
Like
right.
where did it go? Because but you have to remember too, like we had to buy our own medical supplies. And so America would send medical supplies, and then you would have to go to an alleyway, like if you're doing a drug deal, to buy like Quick Clot, like
To
that.
get
Dead
quick
serious.
clot?
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
went to like like you were doing a drug
I
deal to
went
buy
into a
medical
back alley to
supplies.
get the syringe Quick Clot for bullet wounds. I had to do that because we
Oh
ran
my
out of
god.
them, and they so medics would take it from the hospitals and sell it to us in the back alley.
anything to make a quick buck. And
Yeah. So.
the billions of dollars that United States has sent. It's been 4 years, and
Mhm,
Lindsey Graham just passed away. God bless his heart. But he
mhm.
was a huge staple when it came to our international relations and getting the Ukrainians money that they needed to keep fighting. What do you think is going to
Yes.
happen in the future?
Well, the thing is this. They don't know, like, America doesn't know where their money went in the first place. Okay. Like when we came back last year, after we got blown by the mines, every time I got wounded, I'd like come back to US or whatever, right?
Hmm.
Because I felt like it'd be treated better here than over
Then
there,
over there,
obviously. And plus, like, I was always deciding, do I want to go back? You know what I mean? I just almost died again,
right?
um,
You're like a cat with
and
9 lives, but even more.
yes, yeah, but like, do you want that 10th to happen?
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, oh yeah, so the money, no one knows where it goes. So we're giving all this money, right? It doesn't make it to the front. When I got blown up, and you saw in the video, like when I got blown up the first time, like in the vehicle,
Hmm.
I had no Kevlar. They had no Kevlars for us. They had no sappy plates. I had to have my own sappy plates. So you had guys in the front with no sappy plates in their plate carriers.
Oh my God. Well, it kind
So
of
they
reminds me of
basically
when
the
we
plate
went to
carriers were just
Iraq
full of
in
stuff.
'03. We only had one
Yes.
sappy plate, and we didn't have a second one. But I mean, that's 10 times
At least you
worse
had
than just
50%. You
having
had
one.
more. You had more. You had
Yeah,
more
yeah.
Kevlar. You know.
Like it's pennies to dollars over here.
Yeah, but at the
Uh,
same time, then you would take your flak jackets and you guys would have to like put it on the floor because you guys had like
because
they
that's
would,
so the
yeah.
IED
So
didn't
at
shoot
that
up
point, you
below
had
you.
nothing. Yeah, but yeah, so that's the thing. Like, the money was never. No one knew where it went. Even when so yeah, when it crossed back to the border, I literally had to. I met they had the FBI meet with me, believe it or not. And they
Hmm.
also had the military that was, do you remember we had like airborne or whatever station there, like right on the
Yep.
border in Poland? They met with me and they talked to me and they were asking me what made it to the front lines because they didn't even know what made it to the front. Like
Well,
our own
yeah.
government had no idea.
I mean, we were just
And
giving them piles of cash and equipment and
yeah,
all of this. But
yeah,
then it seems like every time that you see it or talk to somebody, they would have nothing. So what are
yes,
they doing with
that's
it all?
exactly it. Yes. Well, I already know people are pocketing it. That's just a fact. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so this, it's like, yeah, so it's crazy. But yeah, the medical stuff, man, like, yeah, they had such poor medical care at first. Now it's great. Now it's like the last time I got like wounded, they were doing better. They were doing way better. So it drastically improved over time. But once again, it's like for example, one of these guys we went out there and the Russians just did tons of artillery and tanks were shooting at us, and one of our guys got his leg blown off. And well, no, sorry, it wasn't even one of our guys. It was a Ukrainian soldier got his leg blown off. They put the tourniquet on him and they just left him there. And so me and my guys ran over, grabbed him, and then we carried him back while we're getting like blown. Everything's exploding around us. They would leave their not accidentally. They'd just be like, "Okay, you're good, bye." And then we'd have to save their guys. Yeah, like we would drive in
It's
ATVs, like try to
unfathomably
save them.
the way that
Yeah.
that sounds. But when you hear and a lot of Americans didn't even believe that that many people were dying. They're like, no,
Oh,
there's no way
oh,
that that could ever happen that way. But I believe it.
yeah. No,
And
no. The body count is so high. It's literally like World War II warfare. That's the best way to put it. Like this isn't like Vietnam. They didn't have drones doing this stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like the amount of death. Like, and I hate to compare that because I love the Vietnam vets, but the best comparison is the death toll is definitely higher because
Oh
it's
yeah.
just everyone's dying. Everyone's dying, especially in the beginning. Like you would be like, all right, we have 100 casualties. Literally like right there now, another 100, another 100, another 100. So you always have hundreds of people dying or like severely wounded.
Yeah. And
So, and yeah,
when I was talking to those Ukrainian soldiers a couple weeks ago, I've got to wonder what they're thinking coming to America, because this is the first time they spent a week here in Michigan, and this is the
yeah,
first time that they've ever been to America. And they were taking them to the VA facilities. They were taking them to a lot of different places to walk them through so they could go back to Ukraine and say, this is what they're doing. And of course, the Vietnam Veterans of America, Jack Devine, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Fella, he is fighting and advocating for them through a lot of different areas. But I've got to wonder what goes through those guys' minds when they see what we have over here versus what they have over there.
Well, I can already tell you, they can see that they already know that they're not being treated the best. You know what I mean? Like they already know this. They may not say it in person. They may not, because once again, they don't want to like no, they don't want to spit on their country. They love their country and they love their
Of
people,
course.
right? So it's like, but the thing is, like, I've seen the difference. They've seen the difference, and I guarantee, I know for a fact, if they when they went to those facilities, they were like, "We got jacked, like we got screwed," because they don't have anything like we have. So I'm glad you guys were able to at least take them there and bring the knowledge back. You have to remember though, like a lot of these people are stuck in their ways, and they're stuck in the old Soviet mindset still, even. So everything's still the old doctrine. Nothing. So it's even with medical care, like once again, when you go to war and you don't bring your medics to the front because you don't want to lose medics, that's a problem. I was the
That's a
first one
huge
to
problem.
yeah, I was the first one to integrate them into to our group when we fought in Kiev. I said we're not going unless I have a medic, and they're like, no, no. Yeah, it's the one with the girl that got blown up, Alexis, the one that got shrapnel on their legs and stuff. Literally a chunk of her leg was like ripped off from an
Hmm.
arty round, or it was a mortar or something, but. Um, and but like yeah, everything there is just so bizarre, messed up with medical, but they did get better like with the getting you there and back now, because before, like once again,
But
unless
they're
you got
still in
like
just
guys.
regular vehicles, trucks,
Yeah. Oh dude.
S10s,
Oh dude. Oh
cars.
yeah, dude. we dude
There's
we
no
mounted
military
an
vehicles that exist.
no, we literally mounted an anti-aircraft gun onto a vehicle. Boxer did it. Boxer, one of my best friends who got killed,
Uh,
the one I told you about. He literally would mount anything to any like vehicle, like if they're in an Afghan war. But he had this giant anti-air gun, like literally designed for anti-air, and he had these like rounds that were like incendiary rounds that he would unload.
mhm.
So we would go to like we'd drive up, right, and go do 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 do, and Boxer just unload, right. And then we pull away, and then we hear the radio chatter. They're like, "Oh, 6 of our guys just got killed," in the Russian chatter. What was that? Oh, they must be doing a push because they didn't expect an anti-air gun to be unloading on them. So it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And thinking about, the you were talking about the Russian way and everything, the oligarchy, and you think about the communism that's starting to happen here in America,
oh
and some of
god,
those
oh god,
thoughts
yeah,
that are starting to infiltrate us, you know, like the Mamdamis of New York, or
dude,
like you're
dude,
starting to see that in Dearborn, Michigan,
they're
with
they're all role
El
players.
Said,
They're
who's
all
running right now,
yeah,
and a lot of things about how they want to tax the 2% to give to everybody else, and they think that
that
the communist way is better. I've got
well,
to
this is
wonder
what
what they're
yeah.
thinking in their brains.
Well, the stupidity with that is this. If you tax the people that invest and make business and do business, they're going to leave. And when you do that, then you have no jobs. So that percent, the 98 you want, are going to be jobless. So all you're doing is you have to remember these people purposely are doing this, but they're on the higher echelon of things, right?
Of
So it's like
course.
a pyramid scheme, right? It's a pyramid scheme. These communists that care so much about people, they literally make all the money and keep all the money for themselves, right?
Yep.
It's the people who get screwed isn't even the 2%. It's the 98%. They get screwed because they lose all their jobs. So like you're literally, it's literally garbage. Like you're literally, that's why like during like that's why like with Russia they had the famine, before World War II. Stalin
Mhm.
killed like, people were literally cannibalizing off people because they had no food, and it was that bad. So that's the thing, like it's none of this shit, socialism, freaking
Right.
communism,
Well,
none of
and
it worked.
it leads me to our next topic. You got these guys that are talking about abolishing ICE, abolishing the police, all
Yeah,
of those kind of things that make zero sense to America, or at least to
yeah,
people like me. Like we need our police, We need our ice. We need those things, especially we had, millions of illegal immigrants come in and everything. And here we are fighting every day for veterans' rights. Our 0.5%. You got the TCAVA, or Take Care of Americans Veterans Act, to the Richard Starr Act. They're trying to cram that in there. Section 108. It should have been a clean bill, but they can't find the $57 billion it would cost. So they want to take away tinnitus and sleep apnea to pay for the Richard Starr Act. And of course, the VFW drew their line in the sand, and we would never allow our future veterans to pay for something that America should be paying for anyways. But
100%.
that's something that you've been kind of fighting for the last year. You'd go to some of these protests, and these people that want to abolish ICE and do everything, but you starting to shed light on what these people are doing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So they tried to make me go to jail. That's the best way to put it. Like, it's ironic the people that want to abolish the police call the police on me for holding a sign that contradicts them, because like I'll go there acting as one of them. So I wear their vests, I wear their whistles, right? And I hold the sign up is like, we need to keep our Palestine child brides. And I'm like, yeah, like I hold up that sign, or we need elite. So I had a guy come up to me, one of the protesters, like, we need illegals to pick our crops. Like, that's one of them saying that to me. So I put that on a sign. It says, we need illegals to pick our cotton, ... crops. I mean, crops.
right.
Like, because I'm making the hypocrisy statement. You're basically saying you want free slave labor. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's what you're asking for. So, and like, how disgusting is that? I mean, I don't believe in any of the signs I hold, but it makes a point. But yeah, they've called like, what I've done is I've shown how they are as people, and they are disgusting human beings. They are the most disgusting human beings. I got put in jail for an assault I never did. I was able to
Yeah.
prove I never did it. Yeah. So I went on stage during the if you guys, everyone remembers, there was the State of the Union, and the Democrats go, we're going to have the People's State of the Union.
Yep.
So during that, I was staying there. I was like, do I want it? So the way I got around all of it is I showed up, and they were like, hey, would you like to volunteer and help us build our stage for this thing going on? And I go, sure, that sounds good. So now I'm technically a volunteer. So I was helping set up the stage, putting up their border wall, their barrier, right? But
That didn't stop
they
anybody.
no. Well, the thing is this: yeah. So when Murphy went up there, my senator that is like so pro illegal immigrants and everything,
Mhm.
he was just talking trash about Trump, and I'm like, dude, like, I'm just sick of people like, dude, what are you doing? You don't do anything for our state. So I went up there and I say, go Trump, and I was like, Murphy, you're a scumbag. And
Yeah.
anyway,
I
I
watched
walked
that.
off. Yeah, so I walked off, and next thing I know, they're like, you got to leave, right? So I never touched anybody. I was holding a camera, 360 camera on one hand, a sign in the other. I walk off stage, and the cops are like, "What are you going to be doing now?" I said, "Hey, I'm heading out. They told me to leave, so I'm going to abide by what they said. Don't want to fight." So I'm walking away. Next thing you know, I get arrested by officers for assault and intimidation of a public official. I walked up and said, "Go Trump."
Yeah.
Like,
That's
dude,
not
like, get some balls.
intimidation.
No. And anyways, I get arrested, put in jail for the assault charge. I told them I had video proof I never assaulted anyone, and I could show them right there. And the cops said, "Take it to court. We don't care." So the DC police are horrible. I'll be real. Like, they're horrible. The Capitol Police.
Yeah.
And I think they were embarrassed that I was able to just walk in and just go on stage. I'll be honest, like, next to one of the politicians.
Yeah. No,
So
I tell you what, that just tells you how good their security is, right?
it is. It's horrible. Yeah. So, anyways, I was able to prove with my footage that I never assaulted anyone. So the prosecution had to admit that they lied. Their witness lied in a written statement saying that I assaulted him, because he said I came in, I shoved him to the ground, I ran up the stage. The video footage literally shows me walking up, going, and I just like
Yeah.
go up the stage. But he's the only one that touched me. I never even touched him. So, and I said, and when he was pulling me off, I said, peace, don't touch. They're like, whatever I said. I was like, don't, no violence. That's why I said, no violence, no violence. So I'm literally countering everything he said. But also when I went up there, I said, I snuck in the border. So, like, so yeah, but they're all hypocrites, dude. Like, I've been punched a bunch. I got punched in the face. I've been kicked on. I've been spat on. So it's ironic. They spit on a veteran that fought in the wars that they're holding signs for. So they're holding a Ukrainian flag, right? And their
Yeah.
signs, and then they have like upside down American flags. And
And
I'm
of
like,
course,
dude,
they
this
have
is
no
so
idea who you are or what you've done.
none. But when they find out, so at first they called me a Putin lover, but then they found out who I was, and they're like, oh, we can't use Putin against them anymore. So they do the whole thing like this is uncensored, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're like they literally will be like next to me going like, I bet you fuck your daughter. I bet you like saying the most disgusting stuff. I bet you sniff her
That's
panties. I
nasty.
bet you yeah. And I bet you raped Ukrainian kids, like all this horrible stuff. And then they bring up my friends who got blown up with me. And they're like, "Oh, shame you didn't die with them." Like, "Oh, you should have died with them." And I'm like, "You realize you're not just spitting on me, you're spitting on my dead friends. They're American and Ukrainian. Like, that's not just
Yeah.
me you're insulting at this point. And bringing up children is disgusting. Like you're personally children. Like I
Well,
don't go
and
up to
I
them and go,
remember
"Hey,
you
your
you
daughter's
you
this."
you made a point that they were doing that too.
Yes.
Saying that kind of
So
stuff.
the so because of that lady that's like, one of the ladies who's like, "Don't touch me, don't touch me." I'm like, "Ma'am, I have a camera. I'm not touching you. It's a 360 camera." And she's like, "Don't touch me." She's holding her phone, acting like I'm assaulting her, and I'm just standing there. And anyways, she put a restraining order on me. So I had to go back to court here like 2 weeks ago or whatever, 3 weeks ago. And she had witnesses go up. This is a funny quick. Do you have like 5 seconds? This is a
Oh
funny
yeah.
story.
I mean,
So
have
yeah,
that.
yeah. So I'm there at the hearing, and it's for her getting a restraining order. The reason we wanted to do that was she was trying to get a restraining order on me, so I couldn't be around her, hence be around any protest she's at. It wasn't about her; it was me being at the protests. And so I go there, and they have her witnesses are all the people that say all this disgusting stuff to me, right? So I'm representing myself at this point, because I've spent so much money. Like I can't afford stuff like that. But I'm sitting there, and it was my turn to cross-examine them. So like one of the guys came up and he goes, "Rob's a disgusting human being. This guy's a foreign guy," and he's like, he goes, "He told me to suck his dick." And and it was my turn to question him. I go, "Excuse me, and I go, so did you ever?" And remember, I have video footage because I brought a tablet with all these videos of what they've done to me,
Hmm.
and this lady in particular. And I go, "Remember, I have video footage proving stuff. So be careful what you say. You're under oath." I was like, the judge just letting me go because the judge, he played some of the video where she said I harassed her, and the whole video is nonstop of her harassing me, and I'm telling her to leave me alone.
The
And
exact
I was like, "The
opposite.
cops told you to leave me alone." Yeah, like leave me alone. So she already got proven she's a liar, and I said, "Your Honor, obviously she lied." But anyways, to you, Your Honor. So he's letting me go off. He was like gonna stop me, but he's like, "No, it's good." So the guy, I go, "So didn't you tell me that I'm Putin's lover?" And he goes, "Yes, I may have said something like that." Like, so every person, like this one woman came up and goes, "He's a very violent person. I'm scared he's going to hurt us." And I go, and she goes, "I don't understand why he didn't get arrested, but I got arrested that day, like when the protests." I go, "Ma'am, what did you get arrested for?" And the judge was going to stop me, but then he let me continue. And I go, "Weren't you arrested for assaulting me with your sign?" And so she's saying I'm the violent one, but she was the one arrested for smacking me in the face with a wooden sign. Like,
Jeez.
you know, like, so everyone who went up, I had a counter for them. And the judge was just like, yeah, restraining orders are basically for people that actually are in fear for their life. And he goes, "I cannot give you this. I cannot give you this. This is ridiculous." Because I'm like, "Your Honor, I don't know her. I've never been to her house. I don't call her. She follows me around. She says sexual things about my daughter. Like I have and he's paused the video and he goes, "Oh, this is funny. She said how I say horrible things." And I go, "Your Honor, she says sexual things about my daughter." And the judge looks at her and he goes, "Before I play the rest of this video, because the video had her saying sexual stuff, he goes, you have something you want to say?" And she goes, "Yeah, I did say some sexual things about his daughter." Like, so, yeah. So, but this is the shit I got to deal with. They keep taking me to court. They keep,
Right.
and so that's what they do, man. What they try to do is financially drain you or just smear you completely. So like when you type in Rob Vardaro, it used to say Ukraine war veteran, Iraq, Afghanistan war veteran, Syria,
Hmm.
it had all this stuff, all
Yeah.
positive, right? Now you type it in, it says Rob Vardaro assault, blah blah blah, case dropped. the case was a drop because they didn't do any of it.
Well, of
Like, you know, the
course.
judge said there's nothing here, and you guys lied, so it's dropped. That's why. You know what I mean? Like, like that's why. But like when I type in my name now, it's like literally like just garbage about how horrible I am. They would literally like be calling. They call DCF on me about my daughter. Like
Oh,
they
I'm
literally
sure.
tried
I'm
to.
sure they hit every
Mhm.
route that they could
They
to try to
the
go
last
after
route
you.
was
And
yeah, the last route was the restraining order, and they even told the judge that they're like, "We've tried everything on him, Your Honor, and this is the only thing we can think we can do, so we can have our peaceful protest." And it was peaceful until he showed up.
peaceful.
That's what she said.
Keyword
Yeah, but once again,
peaceful.
yeah. Let me get this straight. It's only peaceful if I'm not there because you don't have a counter. If you're someone there that you don't like, you start punching them and hitting them and spitting on them. You're in the wrong here, you
Yeah.
know. And plus, you're doing it to a veteran. Like you're the stereotypical person. They know I'm a veteran. They're still spitting on me. Like you're that person that would go to these are the same people that went to the Vietnam vets and spat on them. These are the
Yeah.
exact same people. Because some of them will straight out admit it. Like they'll be like, they won't say the spitting part, they'll be like, oh yeah, like I haven't done this since, the Vietnam War when I was protesting it. Like
Oh my
they,
goodness.
these old people are the same exact people. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. It
and they're
shows there
saying,
was never any change.
but once again, they don't care about minorities. All right, they don't care about these people because I'll be real. Like for example, I'm like, look at I want to thank. I said thank. I want to thank all the people of color here today, white, because there's no other people other than white people there at the protest against. There's no Hispanics, no blacks, right? So when the woman come up to me and she was like, "Well, we're doing it for them because they can't do it for themselves." I go, "Ma'am, do you not realize how offensive that is? You're basically saying they can't stand up for themselves, so the white person has to. You're basically calling them inferior. All
Hmm.
right? You're a racist. You are a straight out racist. Okay? My daughter is half Hispanic. All right? Like, but I don't make it like her life thing of being Hispanic.
No, of
She's
course
just
not.
American. Yeah. But these people, they basically go, people of color can't protect themselves, so we have to do it for them. And I go, you're saying they're inferior. Like saying that, hey, we can't do the ID, like, oh, IDs is discriminatory. You're saying black people are too stupid to get IDs, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's so insulting and disgusting. You know what I mean? Like, so that's yeah,
Or
they
people
they
without a
always try to
marriage
put me.
certificate. That was another one.
Yeah,
Can't
yeah.
can't
It's like,
vote
well,
because the last name and all that. I mean,
I'm
that's
like, yeah,
that's
well, just
that's that's crazy. But
that's
they try
10
to
bucks.
use
That's like 50
everything.
bucks.
It's the
Yeah,
same thing. Like when they said you were inciting political violence by going up there to them during that video. I mean, Mike Boss just did that to the VFW. He used a 1934 character, a cartoon character deal that was on the newspaper in 1934 about honoring the contract. And then he
yes.
used that and told Secretary Collins, we should have the VA looked into, or the VFW looked into, and take away their accreditation and their charter because they're inciting political violence because of a 1934 cartoon that we use to, show that they need to honor the contract. We fought for the United States. We got injured, wounded, whether it's mentally or physically, and we did our part that the United States asked us to do. All we're asking the United States Congress to do is to fight for us and give us what we need so we can transition and move on with life. And because we disagree with the way that they're doing it,
Yeah.
all of a sudden they're going to come after us. And then they're inciting violence is a cartoon that was used in 1934, in the 1950s, and then again just recently. It just
Yeah.
drives me crazy that they think that's gonna work. Like it
They're
doesn't hold
offended
any
by
water, but it's a
they're
cartoon.
offended. Yeah, and also they're offended by something that happened before anyone was alive, pretty much right now. Like, you know what I mean? They're
Exactly.
like, so they're offended by something that no one alive created. So like, and like you said, it was to prove a point. You know what I mean? Like, so once again, it's one of these things where, like, if you dig far enough on anybody, you're gonna find something, right? Everyone's family member was a slave at one point. If you're Irish, the Vikings, you were so slaved. The white slave trade. Being a slave for the Roman Empire, for the anywhere. Everyone at one point their family member has been a slave, has been whatever, right? So it comes to a point where, like, where do you draw the line? Like, my ancestor is Rebecca Nurse from the Salem witch trials.
Hmm.
So my mom's side, so we go back to the Salem witch trials. I don't go to the British government and go, "Hey, give me money because you killed my great 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 great
Oh,
grandma."
you're
You know what I
talking
mean?
about
Like,
reparations. In fact,
yeah, yeah,
Chicago's big into that.
yeah.
We owe
So
them reparations for something that happened before anybody was alive that is
yes,
alive
you're
today.
making people pay for other people that no one like is alive, or if they're alive, they're like 99. You know what I mean? Like, you're making people pay for something you didn't do. But yeah, yeah, with the VFW stuff, like, like, at least they have the balls to do the right thing. They have the balls to do the right thing. And that's what I believe in. Like, I can't stand when people like kowtow, like you were saying, like the Legion, what are they doing? If you want
So the
to, if we can
Legion
go there.
so what they did is they specifically pitted us against each other, or at least tried to. And you're starting to see a lot of American legions start joining, our side. But it was a strategic move to make us draw that line in the sand because they knew the VFW would never allow future veterans' disabilities to pay for the Richard Starr Act. They knew it.
Yeah.
And so they specifically put this into 62 bills and tried to push it through the Take Care of America's Veterans Act. There's a lot of good bills in there. I'm not going to lie. The one about Gold Star families, and I mean, there's a lot of good bills. But
Yeah.
then to take away future veterans for tinnitus and say it doesn't exist, yeah, let them, fire big guns and get blown up and this and that
Yeah.
and go into the
Tinnitus doesn't
military and
exist.
then tell us that it doesn't exist. Or sleep apnea, and which is, talking about the PACT Act. And so they think by cutting those two from future veterans to pay for the Richard Starr Act,
Yeah.
which is our guys who got blown up and they forced to retire early, and they take half their retirement because they didn't do their full 20.
But even
And
it's not their fault. It's not
it's
even their fault. They got rid.
exactly, and how can America not fund the Richard Starr Act? If
Yeah.
we're allowed to take care of all these people coming into our country at no cost, and we're paying for it as taxpayers, and then they tell us veterans that we can't take care of a 0.5% of America that fought for our rights and our freedoms, that's
Yeah.
disgusting.
It
Like, in a
is. It
nutshell.
is. Yes, it's so disgusting, and that's the thing. My question is, what politician goes, hey, let's take away from guys who lost their hearing, shooting machine guns, saving, their brothers, you know what I mean, and sisters. Like, what politician is okay with that? Because you're a scumbag. You
Well,
are a scumbag.
I tell you what, House Bill 4189, Mike Hanks was killed 3-1 in Fallujah in November, and it took his sister 9 years to name a bridge after him. And why did it take 9 years? Because the politicians were saying, I don't know if we'll have enough support in this. Why do you think that he deserves a bridge named after him? And I'm thinking to myself, you know how many street names are named after musicians and people who have
Yeah,
nothing
random
to
ass
do with fighting
people.
for our freedom or dying
Yes,
for our country.
yes.
And that's okay. And everybody's for that. But you got a fallen Marine or a fallen soldier that the family wants to name a bridge after. What makes you think that's worthy enough? Like, I
Yes.
wanted to
No,
shoot
well, I mean,
myself in
like,
the head when I heard her say that, on my
yeah,
last podcast.
yeah,
I
like,
was,
it's true though. Dude, like, what was the street's name originally? Like Freedom Road. Like, like, what was the name of the bridge prior? Like George
it's
Bridge. It
called
was
the
named after
overpass.
most. Oh yeah, yeah. That's even,
There's not even a
man.
name for the
That's a
bridge. It's
great
an
name.
overpass
Yeah,
over, you cross on a major highway 96 here in Michigan. And so there is no name for that bridge, and that's the craziest part about it all. But finally we passed it, and our great governor, uh she didn't even give the sister or the family the recognition of her signing the bill that named that bridge after our fallen Marine. What she did is she let it sit there for 7 days. And finally, we start calling the governor's office and saying, hey, are you going to sign this bill? When are you going to sign it?
yeah,
Because I'm sure the family would love to come and see it get
yes,
signed. Give them that
yes,
recognition for their son
yes,
dying for our state, for our country, for our
yeah,
freedoms. And what'd she
yes.
do? She signed it and then just called him and said it's done with. She didn't give him any of that recognition. She didn't honor his service. Her signing her John Hancock on it and then pushing it aside like it didn't even matter. You would think that they would take that as a huge win for the Democratic Party or the Republican Party or whatever party is involved. I mean, this
Yeah.
one's Democratic, but you would
Yeah.
think that that would be a major win that they'd like to promote, saying, hey, look what we did for this fallen Marine, this fallen soldier. Instead, they just sign it and they don't do anything. And it's almost disgusting.
Well, the reason is truly disgusting is they just don't care. Like they don't care about our fallen brothers and sisters. They don't. They care more about people chilling in like I'll be honest, you came here illegally, you get free food, you get everything, you get toilets, you get everything, you get showers, all right? We're out there not having any of that. We get killed. They care more about them, people that aren't even supposed to be here and broke the law to be here,
Mm-hmm.
than are people who died. They care more about them than us. And the thing is, like, you have to remember, a lot of these people, they just genuinely don't care about veterans. And they try to, like, I'm going to be honest, they usually view it as a black eye to them. Like, it's an embarrassment, right? Like, oh, yeah, we lost a person. Oh, you know what I mean? It's not even like, oh, thank you for your service, your honor, blah, blah. It's literally just like a stain to them. And they just don't want to deal with it because it's not what they believe in.
Well, I tell you,
So,
for the first time, when you talk about Secretary of War Hegseth and,
yeah.
J.D. Vance and Trump, I never remember during Iraq and Afghanistan when our presidents, guys were dying. They're going to Dover Air Force Base. And you know what I've seen since we started Iran is every time an American dies, they all go to Dover Air Force Base and give that Marine soldier
Yes.
and that person who died for our country the respect. And I never remembered seeing that in our 20-year war. But
Yes.
this new war in Iran, every time that somebody dies, they fly from DC or wherever they're at and they go to Dover and they honor them and respect them. And it's on the news. I mean, they're not playing it
Yeah.
on CNN. They're not playing it on, some of those, but, Fox and Real Max and all those places. But they're showing, and it's the first time I remember seeing a president and all the cabinet there giving our fallen the respect they deserved. I mean, do you remember any of
Yeah.
that happening when we were serving or over those years?
Not at all. Like I remember, like the presidents, like when my friends would be like, "Oh, the president came by when they're in like, Bethesda and stuff like
Or Walter
that."
Reed?
Yeah, Walter Reed. Like the presidents would come by there, but it's not like they would go like to see the wounded guys once in a while, like in a blue moon. But it's not like because it's local to them pretty much. So it's not like it's like across the across the world.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, but yeah, nothing like that ever. But like the thing is this, like CNN does report it, but what they report isn't about the fallen soldier, or fallen, anybody. They report on how Trump's wearing a hat while he salutes. You know what I mean? That's that's what they report on. That's the thing is, it's not ever about these soldiers. It's not about Marines. It's not about any of us who fought. It's about how can we make this president look bad. And honestly, I don't care if you like him or hate him. What's that have to do with anything?
It
Who
has
cares
nothing
if
to
he
do with
wore a
anything.
freaking hat? It's about the soldiers there, dude. Like, it's not about him. It's about the soldiers. And you guys literally made it about him. And that's what I'm so irritated about. And like I've lost so many friends from being like, none of them were military guys for this one. It was like because what I was doing, like going out, showing how they really are.
Yeah.
And they're, and yeah, it's just like the people just don't care. They just don't care. And the thing is this, they just don't want to remember it, I guess is the best way to put it. They don't want to remember it because it was a long war that no one wants to really talk about.
Oh
That's
yeah.
the
I mean,
issue.
20, 21
They're basically,
years.
yeah, they're like, let's forget this group. Let's push them to the side, okay? You know, um, like it's just, I'll be honest, it's disgusting. Like, and I think with the VFW standing their ground, and I'm really proud of them because taking away like tinnitus and, for example, sleep apnea, dude, I'm on trazodone. You know why? Because I can't sleep. I can't sleep because I'd have to wake up every hour, every other hour, because we were going to get shot at or something was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So we had no sleep schedule. We literally could not sleep. So we were literally dying of sleep deprivation. And so when I come home, I can't sleep anymore. Like it's just my body will literally wake up an hour, 2 hours later. It's just natural reaction because I had to adjust to that and I can't adjust back.
Hmm.
So, like, sleep apnea, sleep issues, stuff like that. If you try to take that away, that's truly disgusting. I'll be real. Like, that's just straight out disgusting. And tinnitus, dude, what do you mean it's not there? It's scientifically proven you'll lose hearing. You'll have hearing issues if you hear loud. It literally says it in the vehicles that you can't wear ear pro at the time because you have to be able to hear your guys.
Yeah.
Like, make
Well,
sure you wear
you're
ear
not putting
protection. See, we're
earplugs in
covered.
while you're in a combat
See,
zone.
yeah, we're covered. Is it what? Wait, what? Like, no, that's not how that works.
and,
You know?
and that's why I love, that they say that tinnitus isn't real.
Yes,
That's
it's
one of their,
crazy.
and I want to know who comes up with this stuff. I mean, okay, Mike Bost or, Jack Bergman or all these people who are, okay with them taking away disabilities. I don't care if you've served, and, a lot of the American Legion is a
Yeah.
part of the VFW. And what they did is try to ununify us to be one voice to make us weaker. Their
Well,
goal
that's the
is to
thing
try to
is,
make us weak, pit us against each other, so we can't be a unified voice to make a difference for our veterans and the people who serve our country.
I have a question for you though. Like, at being a fellow veteran, and serving overseas and stuff and everything. My question for you is, say that you're part of the Legion. What makes you go, this is okay? Like, if you're a part of that group, like, there should be no pitting against each other in this. There
Well,
should be no
I can
fighting at
tell
all.
you what they're thinking.
Okay,
Something's
please.
better than nothing. That's what their thought
But
process is something's better than nothing.
you're taking away.
They've been trying to do the Richard Starr Act for almost 2.5, 3 years, or for even longer than that, and they've failed trying to do a clean bill every time. And this Richard Starr Act they have into the TCAVA is a watered down version of the original one. In fact, it's only a certain number of the people that the original one had, because they said, oh, only the guys severely wounded are we going to give that to.
But
So some
what's
of the other
considered
ones
severely
where the
wounded?
original bill was,
Yeah.
they watered it down, and they're trying to shove it through with this 62 bill package. And that's the other disgusting part. They need to pass it cleanly, but the answer to your question is, they sit on the sidelines because, one, a lot of them who are in charge didn't go overseas. You don't have to go overseas
Okay, there you go.
to be in the
Yeah.
American Legion. And
Yeah.
so when they think about, well, we don't have this, so this is better than getting nothing at all. It's our way in the door. Maybe we can amend it later. But that's not the point.
Th-
The point is, you don't take away veterans' disabilities from the future. What message are they sending to the guys who are serving right now overseas, that,
Yes.
hey, when you get out, don't worry, you're going to take your benefits away to pay for these ones
Yeah.
that
Just so
should
you
have been
know,
already paid.
so you're basically saying, and this is true, is people who never actually went over and fought, right? They then go, hey, well, if you fight and lose hearing and can't sleep anymore, that's on you. That's on
Yes.
you. Hey, because we want to take care of other people. You have to be injured a certain amount to us to care. That's basically what they're saying. We only care about you if you're this injured. And my question too is, what is considered severely injured? Is it a brain injury? How bad's your brain injury? They can't tell. So what do you do with that? Or if it's missing legs, how many legs do you have to miss? How many arms do you have to go missing? Is it one leg, one arm?
Well,
I mean,
don't
like,
worry. You only get 50,000 a limb. So if you lose
yeah,
both
yeah,
legs, you'll get 100 grand, right? 50,000 a leg.
yeah.
But say you're a trip amp or a quad amp and you lose an arm and 2 legs. That arm means nothing. You don't get 50 grand for that arm.
You don't? I didn't even know that. No.
No.
Jesus.
You only get 2. They don't allow you,
Yeah, so,
like, for the guys who lost 4 are quad amps, and I've
yeah, yeah,
met
yeah.
quite a few of them.
I met one before too. Yeah.
Two of their limbs they didn't get anything for, but the first 2 they got 100 grand for.
Dude, my buddies who stepped on a same IED, like, blew off opposite legs. It was, I mean, I saw them at the trials. I was in the Marines with them. They were in my unit. They were in my company. And I saw them on the bus at the trials. I saw one of them, Rodriguez. I'm sitting there, and he's like, "Hey, Rob, what percent did you get?" And I go, "Well, what did you get?" And he goes, 80%. I'm like, "Wait, your leg's gone." He goes, yeah, but they apparently like, and I've talked to other guys too. They're like, they gave us like zero PTSD because we told them when we woke up we didn't remember getting blown up.
Yeah.
So they wrote zero for PTSD.
And
And
that's
it's
just
like,
nuts.
but you woke up with no leg. That's pretty traumatizing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know,
Phantom
like,
pains and everything that goes with it, and it's
yeah, it's
amazing how that system works, right? And
yeah,
even with our guys with limbs, and I talk to a lot of people, people of the VA House Committee and stuff, and I'm like, so the VA, you lose a leg, you get one prosthetic. And when that prosthetic starts getting old, doesn't work as well, they might have to take that prosthetic and it might be a month for them to fix it. And for that month, that veteran has crutches because they don't allow
yeah,
you to get two prosthetics unless you go to a
yeah,
nonprofit like Semper Fi Fund, America's Fund,
yeah,
or these people who are making up for the downfalls of our system, and they're paying for it so they can get a swim leg or a running leg or something so they can
yes,
actively get
yes.
out and do sports.
Do you
No,
remember?
like,
Do
hey,
you
you're
remember?
going to get one prosthetic. And when that prosthetic fails, you're going to have to wait a month or two, but we don't have another prosthetic to give you because you're only
Yeah,
allowed
yeah,
one at a time.
yeah. And I remember the arm prosthetics my buddies get. They're like the pull string ones. You know
Yep.
what I'm talking about? Like it's like something from like the 1800s. Like we're
A wooden
like
pole.
it, when I went to the trials, one of my buddies who has his arm blown off. You know, he was running and his arm was going like this, like hitting him when he was running. So he had to take it off. But the thing, like, and then I look at my other guy that's there, and he has his leg blown off, but he has this cool running foot, like
Yeah.
this thing that,
Yep.
like the
Yep.
bending thing. I'm like, now you're cheating. Now you're cheating on this race. But like,
You
but I
got
look
that
at my
extra
buddy, and
spring,
I could
right?
see him. Yeah, he literally had to take his arm off because his prosthetic arm was just smacking him the entire
Yeah.
time. It was like, I was like, bro, like, but yeah, now he has a robotic arm thing, so it like moves around. He can
Mm-hmm.
move, but he did
No,
not get
it's
that
come a
from the
long way.
VA.
I'm just saying these are
Yeah,
some of the things that our veterans are going through,
yeah, yeah.
and in the future we've got to fix it somehow, some way. And I'm hoping that they're getting smarter and they're starting to realize that they're really hindering our guys that have been wounded severely with loss of limb injuries, or what we're starting to do for TBI, with hyperbaric oxygen
Yeah,
chamber treatments, and we're fighting that right now to put PTSD and TBI as a listed medical treatment so we can get a hyperbaric oxygen chamber treatment to help with TBI.
that's amazing. Yeah, that's
And
amazing, and that's the thing. Like, yeah,
and they're fighting us on it. We have to pass it through to do pilot programs to make it a proven treatment. Our government should step in and say whatever our veterans need, they get. Right?
yeah. But once again, you have to remember, like, they consider that as a side thing. Like, we're doing them a favor. You have to remember, it's like, oh, I guess we'll do this. We'll hook them up. It's like you're not hooking us up. We hooked you up. You know what I mean? Like this happened because we did stuff for our country. Okay. And like you said, the people are like something better than nothing. Like you said, the Legion. I go, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard because it took you this long to get this far and whittle it down this much. And now you're going to tell me, hey, maybe you can amend it later. There is going to be no amending.
No.
It took you this long to get this far and do this. Now you're gonna screw over other people because you're like, well, look what we passed something. Haha.
Well,
It's
and
like
and
no,
I
but
don't need our military who are serving right now
yes,
thinking that we're willing to do that.
yeah,
Thinking
to
that
literally
America is
sacrifice
willing to
them
take
for
away
us.
something
Yes,
from them you know,
yes,
for the future when they get out. Like and thank God the VFW is fighting it, but it's still out there. We're still fighting it. It's going to be coming to a vote here over the next month. And
I
they're
was about
still
to
going to
ask.
try to
When's
pass it
yeah.
through like that. And the
What?
VFW is always going to stand up. Just because we won a couple weeks ago and they couldn't vote on it doesn't mean they're not going to try again.
Yeah,
And
no, I get
now
that.
we're fighting for Section 108 to be passed cleanly. Pass take the Richard Starr Act out of the TCAVA and do it by itself. That's what should
Yes,
happen.
yes, 100%. But
And
they're not going to.
unfortunately, who
Yeah,
knows? It will probably get pushed through with those bills. I'm just saying that's the wrong message to send to our guys. So, but Rob, hey, I mean, I appreciate you coming on Warfighters United. It's always I always love talking to you because
Same
you,
here,
you
brother.
got such unique output when it comes to all these kind of things, and
Yeah.
I am honored to be your friend, a guy
Hey,
who
vice
not only
versa,
fought
brother.
for America, but you went over and volunteered for 2 years to fight for Ukraine, man. You're part of my heart, you're part of my soul, and
Same here, man. Thank you.
I appreciate you coming on, brother.
Vice versa. And thank you, brother. And you too. You're like awesome. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
All
hey,
right. Talk
keep
to you
up the
soon, bro.
good fight, man, and enjoy everything you got going on right now. Taking a
I
break
will.
and
I will.
enjoying your
Yeah.
family.
Spend time with my daughter. Yeah. No, it's great. No, I appreciate it. Hey, you take care, brother.
All
Talk to you
right.
soon.
All right. See
All
you,
right.
Rob.
Thank you, bro.